A little over a week ago she began to feel some mild symptoms that she assumed were just exhaustion or a simple cold. Out of anxiety, we took her to the ER. After the examination, it was devastating to learn she showed symptoms that suggested she had gotten cancer. She started hyperventilating at the news and it took me and a nurse a few minutes to calm her down. The doctor told us to go to a larger nearby hospital and we got an appointment as soon as possible. After a few tests, they confirmed that she does have cancer. Once we got there, it was torture waiting for them to finish all their observations and tests. I couldn't stop pacing around and she just looked numb even when I tried to hold her hand. After everything was complete, the doctor sat us down and gave us hopeful news. We had caught it much earlier than we suspected. He said after a few small treatments she should be alright. He even said if it suddenly got worse they'd just do a couple more aggressive treatments and there'd still be a very high chance of survival. He was explaining some treatments to us until she just cut in and said she wanted to go home. Both the doctor and I were shocked, but she just said she needed to think and would contact them soon. He reluctantly let us go and we drove home. In the car, I said I loved her and tried to sound optimistic and said that we're lucky to have caught this early enough to have a real fighting chance. She bluntly stated she wasn't doing any treatments. I thought she was joking at first, but she was dead serious. I begged her why and she teared up saying she didn't want to spend the end of her life confined to a bed too sick to even speak with her kids. She got that impression from her mother who was in severe pain and couldn't speak. I told her how they had caught it late and were labeled at the terminal from the beginning, but she had a much higher chance of survival without getting nearly as ill. She stated she didn't want to get her or the kids' hopes up. This came as such a surprise I decided to give her the night to think and calm down. The next morning I hoped she had changed her mind, but she didn't. We haven't told the kids yet and I have no idea what to do. The cancer is very treatable now, but if she does nothing she'll most likely be dead in 2 years. She won't listen to me and just insists on enjoying the end of her life instead of fighting for it. She's been avoiding me and refuses to sit down for a real conversation to discuss our feelings. I've pleaded with her several times to see a couples therapist together even for just one session. She says her own therapist is good enough and agrees with her. We had an argument where I was fighting for her life and she got me to the point where I said something I regret. During that argument, I yelled back that if she didn't at least try to fight the cancer then I would be leaving her and she could live alone. I don't know what crossed my mind when I said this, but I said it in hopes that she would start fighting for our family. Instead, this made things worse. This really set her off and she called me all sorts of names and insults. I've never seen her that angry. It was so loud she woke up the kids by slamming doors. They came out of the hallway as she was shoving her clothes in a small suitcase. Our kids were confused and when they asked her what was wrong she yelled, "Daddy wants me to die alone and miserable because he can't man up and deal with his family by himself." 2 of the kids started to cry but she just stormed out and went to her other sister's home. She blocked my phone and when I tried calling her sister she just said my wife needed some space for now. That was all the explanation I got before she blocked me as well. It's been a little while now and I told the kids mom was just stressed because she had some big work trip and would be home soon. I'm worried that now she thinks the only reason I'm so strong on this point is because I want her to stick around for the money, but I know that's not the case. If she got sick enough to be bedbound or needed some time to rest up in peace I'd go back to work in a heartbeat and find care for the kids so she could rest. I don't want my kids losing their mother and I don't want to lose my wife. I'm terrified now she'll never speak to me again until she's already dead, but I just wish she would explain in more detail why she won't even give treatment a try. I feel like my wife is being more selfish here than I am because I know she can beat it if she tries. I am trying to reach out to her but I think everything seems hopeless.